We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a little kind of a PSA interlude. Let's get on with it. Hey, welcome back. This is kind of a quick video. I promised to talk about lubricating the machine. When I had it apart, since I've got it apart, I found that not a lot of cleaning needed to be done because it hasn't been lubed in a while. So let me show you the parts that must be lubed and the products that I use and trust to lube equipment like this. Let's go. First and foremost, let's talk about WD-40. So WD-40 is great for cleaning parts off. It's also a good penetrant, sometimes for breaking things free. But remember importantly, WD-40 is not a lubricant. It is WD stands for water dispersant. You can go to the Wikipedia page for this and find out where it came from, how it was designed for the aerospace industry. And it's basically for dispersing water off of something. And this evaporates over time. And you spray it down and it just evaporates away. But it is a good penetrant for getting things started. But for cleaning off the parts, it's also a fantastic product. Secondly, for cleaning is brake clean. In a previous video on this project, I showed cleaning off the idler pulley because it had oil on it when it was shipped with brake clean, and this really gets grease and oil off of parts. Not just brakes, not just for cleaning brakes. It's cleaning grease and oil off of just about everything. So brake clean is a good thing to have in your quiver. For the parts that I'm not going to grease, that I'm just going to oil, and I've used this for decades, it's called cranocroil. It's croil oil. And when they say it's the oil that creeps, they mean that. When you put a couple of drops on a place where you want the oil and you want to get it inside that part, this will creep inside that part. And I'll show you later on where I use this to lubricate parts that are not on the lubrication schedule. For the grease that I use, this is Stay Lube, disc brake, or high temperature bearing grease. And I've used this for a long time for car stuff, motorcycle stuff, whatever. And this has a really good tack, stays where you put it, but it also is mixed with, look at the color, this is mixed with molybdenum disulfide. Molybdenum disulfide is very, very fine powder lubricant that's better than graphite. Graphite has a lower crush than this does, better than graphite. And I said it's got a high tack and it stays where you put it. So let's take a look at the places where you put all this stuff. So I started here, since it's all open, with the lead screw. The lead screw that lifts and lowers the saw assembly. Clean real well, and of course, you want to then grease it up with your grease, whatever grease you're using, and then basically lower it and raise it and lower it and raise it a bunch of times. Make sure you've got the grease spread all the way out throughout it. Now, this bolt right here is the stop bolt for the down motion. Again, you loosen up the lock nut here, and you can adjust the down motion, and there's a stop. See in this picture, there's a stop it stops on this piece of the casting right where that little white spot is. That's also a place where sawdust can accumulate and stop it from going down all the way. So that's one of the places to pay attention to when it doesn't go down all the way, is make sure you clean off that spot right there. Real hard to get to when the saw is assembled. This is the lifting shaft, the lift shaft. We'll get back to that in a second. Next are the bevel gears. Bevel gears right here. Now this is the 90-degree turn for to run the lead screw that raises and lowers the saw right there. So that's what that does. And you want to clean and lubricate those with your grease as well. And this bolt right here is the up stop. That stops the blade from going up any further. That's also adjustable. All of them are adjustable by loosening this set bolt lock nut here and then adjusting it as you wish. The only one I ever had to adjust was the down one. This right here, this one right here is the worm gear for tilting the saw. And that needs to be lubricated as well as the entire rack that worm gear moves. I'll show you that rack in a second. So those are the things we do below, inside of here. And here's the other side of the tilt mechanism. This is the radius gear for the driven by the worm gear, and you're going to lubricate it along all the teeth down here. See that? There you go. There. All these teeth are going to get lubricated, and then you're going to go and crank it back and forth in order to get all the gears covered with the new grease. This bolt here is the 90-degree stop for the saw. You can adjust your 90-degree stop here. And again, watch for dust collecting under here, but this is your 90-degree stop. On the other side, we have another stop. Over on this side of the saw, the right side, there is a stop bolt for the 45-degree angle on the saw. And it can be adjusted as well by loosening it up and adjusting the bolt itself. You can adjust it to exactly 45 degrees, or if, like some makers, and I have a video on my channel about doing this, is going a little past 45 degrees when you're doing miter boxes to get tighter joints at the edges. And you're only going to go by about maybe a degree or degree and a half over beyond 45 to get that tightness. You want a little bit tiny, just a hair open on the inside of the box, and when you clamp it together, it comes up nice and tight. So back to this big honking piece of steel. This is the elevation shaft. Carries a great deal of the load of the assembly coming up and down. This does not get lubricated. It has a bushing, bronze bushing, sintered, I believe, for permanently lubricated, and it's maybe 5/16 in thickness across. So this shaft does not get lubricated. And there's one in the back that's smaller that also does not get lubricated. This is at the back of the saw, and this is that other shaft that you don't lubricate that has the sintered bronze bushing in it here, and you don't lubricate that either. That just goes up and down. It's the rear guide. The 99% of the weight of everything rides on that big huge shaft that's at the front of the saw. But let's crank it up and down so you can see how that moves, how it doesn't move or it does move. And that's that. The last place is here and here. So you basically come all the way over, smear some grease on there, then crank it all the way to the other side. You're going to do it at the back of the saw too, because there's the same thing at the back of the saw. And crank it all the way over and smear grease here, and then run this back and forth a few times. And like I said, this U-shaped rest for the this whole assembly is duplicated in the back, so you're going to lubricate that the same way. This is one of the things that's not on the lubrication schedule. This rotating assembly, along with this rotating assembly for the angle crank mechanism, I lubricate with the coil. So I've already taken this apart, so just for ease of demonstration, and it took the woodruff key out. So take the crank handle off, and you'll notice there's another collar right here, and its set screws grabs onto two of these flats. And I take my little coily thing and I dip it there a little bit. That's it. That will now soak in all the way in, and we'll lubricate that very nicely. So, oh, and the little slight grinding noises sometimes you hear when cranking an older saw like this down, that eliminates it. That's where it's coming from. So let's put this back on. It still has remnants of blue Loctite. Two set screws on the collar. Get that nice and tight. And now we reinstall the woodruff key. And this requires just a little bit of a tap. Oops, not going in. There we go. And the set screw on the wheel sits right on top of the woodruff key, so it's not going anywhere. Slide this back on, like so. Now take the smaller hex key and tighten. Nope, that's not the smaller hex key. This is the smaller hex key. Select the smaller hex key and tighten that down onto the Woodruff key. And that's, see? And basically that lubricates this whole shaft assembly from here to the worm gears so it doesn't make any noise. So that's one of the on the schedule things that I lubricate. That's basically it. Those are the really important parts, and those are the materials I use to do cleaning and lubrication. So it's like I said, it's much easier to do when the saw is open, but you got to do it. So next time I do this, the saw is going to be closed up. So a little short video, how I did it, the materials I used, and so now let's return to our regularly scheduled program, the upgrading of the saw.